The late summer air in Cottonwood Hills was thick with the threat of tornadoes, the sky bruised with gray clouds. I'm Jenna, a 37-year-old meteorologist who'd moved to this Oklahoma subdivision for its wide open spaces and proximity to the weather station where I worked. My pride was my backyard storm shelter, a reinforced concrete bunker I'd upgraded with a high-tech security system after a close call with an EF3 twister last year. It had motion sensors, an auto-locking steel door, and a remote override I controlled from my phone. It was my safe haven until Karen, the HOA self-appointed dictator with a perm and a power trip, decided to break in and got more than she bargained for. It started with an email blast from Karen, the HOA president, sent to every resident in Cottonwood Hills. All structures must comply with HOA Regulation 19F, no unapproved modifications to property, it read. She'd been sniffing around my storm shelter ever since I'd installed a new vent system, claiming it was unsightly and violated the neighborhood's aesthetic harmony. I'd ignored her, knowing my shelter was up to county code and grandfathered under the HOA's limited jurisdiction. My property, like a few others on the edge of the subdivision, was zoned rural, giving me more leeway. Karen didn't care. "Jenna, your bunker is an eyesore," she'd said at the last HOA meeting, her voice dripping with disdain. "It's scaring potential buyers. Remove those vents, or I'll have it inspected for violations." "It's a storm shelter, Karen," I replied, holding up my county permit. "It's legal, and it's staying." She'd stormed out, but I knew she wasn't done. Karen had a history of meddling, fining neighbors for unapproved mailboxes or excessive garden gnomes. I'd reinforced my shelter's locks after she tried peering through my fence last month, citing community oversight, but I didn't expect her to go full cat burglar. It was a muggy Friday evening, a storm watch in effect, when my phone pinged at 7:14 p.m. The shelter's motion sensors had tripped. I opened the app, expecting a raccoon or a stray branch. Instead, I saw Karen in a raincoat and holding a flashlight inside my shelter. She'd somehow pried open the hatch. Later, I'd find a crowbar stashed behind my fence and was poking around my emergency supplies, snapping photos with her phone. The nerve! My shelter was private property, wired to auto-lock if unauthorized motion was detected, a feature I'd added to deter looters during evacuations. I watched her on the live feed, muttering about code violations as she rifled through my water jugs. Then click, the steel door slammed shut, the auto-lock engaging with a heavy thud. Karen froze, her flashlight beam darting to the door. She pounded on it, screaming, "Open this right now!" "This is an HOA inspection." The shelter's soundproofing muffled her voice, but the camera's audio picked up her panic as she realized she was trapped. I could have unlocked it from my phone, but I wasn't feeling charitable. Karen had broken into my property, and Oklahoma's stand. Your ground laws were on my side. I called the sheriff's office instead. "Someone's trespassing in my storm shelter," I told the dispatcher, sending them the footage. "She's locked herself in with the auto security system." Deputy Reynolds, a grizzled local who dealt with Karen's complaints before, arrived in 15 minutes, his truck crunching up my gravel drive. I met him at the shelter, where Karen's muffled yells were barely audible. "She broke in," I said, showing him the app's recording of her crowbar stunt. The motion sensors triggered the auto-lock. I didn't touch her. Reynolds smirked, reviewing the footage. "Well, damn, she's in a pickle." He banged on the hatch. "Ma'am, this is Sheriff's Deputy Reynolds. You're trespassing. Stay calm, we'll get you out." Karen's voice cracked through the vent. "This is entrapment. I'm HOA president. I have rights." "You have the right to not break into private property," Reynolds shot back. He radioed for a locksmith, since my override code was on a delay for security reasons. Karen was stuck for 45 minutes, her shouts turning to sobs as the reality sank in. The locksmith finally popped the hatch, and Karen stumbled out, raincoat askew, mascara streaking her face. She pointed at me, shrieking, "She locked me in. Arrest her." Reynolds wasn't having it. "Ma'am, you pried open a secured shelter. That's breaking and entering. Miss Jenna's system did its job. You're lucky she's not pressing charges. He turned to me. You want to? I considered it, but Karen's humiliation was punishment enough, for now. Just get her off my property, I said. Karen was escorted home, and Reynolds filed a trespassing report. The HOA board got wind of it thanks to my neighbor Sam, who'd seen the sheriff's truck and spread the word. At the next meeting, I presented the security footage, the crowbar, and my property's rural zoning exemption. The board, fed up with Karen's overreach, last year, she tried to ban a neighbor's therapy dog, was livid. You broke into a storm shelter during tornado season, Sam said, glaring at Karen. That's not leadership, it's lunacy. The board voted 7-0 to remove Karen as president. She tried to argue, but the room erupted in boos. Her house hit the market a week later, and rumors swirled she was moving to a condo in Tulsa. I upgraded my shelter with a biometric lock and donated the crowbar to Sam for his scrap metal art. Cottonwood Hills is quieter now, and my shelter's ready for the next storm without Karen's prying eyes.